Hi, everybody. I'm delighted to welcome you to the Podcaster's Shortcut Guide. I'm Rebecca Caroe. I've been podcasting since 2013, and over the years, the tools and the ability to streamline how I produce my weekly show has increased just multiple times. I now spend so much less time doing what I do that today is my chance to show you the stack of technology that I use, the sequence in which I do things, so that you can very quickly copy it for yourself and save yourself a ton of time. Now, in the show notes below this video, you'll see links to all of the products that I use. Yes, some of them are affiliate links. I'd be very grateful if you click on them. That helps me pay for this. But now let's get on with the show. So the first part of this is StreamYard. StreamYard is what you're actually watching me on right now. You're probably viewing this on YouTube, but StreamYard is the best technology. I pay for the pro version, but there are lots of other ways to use it free of charge. You just have to carry their logo. But I believe that most of the functionality is included in the free version. Now, I choose StreamYard because it has so many simple to use features which work well for me, but more importantly, they work well for my guests. I find one of the biggest challenges is a guest comes on the show and they can't get in, or their camera doesn't work, or the audio is lumpy. And so there are an awful lot of things built into StreamYard that they use and produce that helps me to give a really professional performance. One of the beautiful things about the team is they keep adding new functionality. I'll show you some of the things they've introduced this month, October 2025. Doubtless by the time you watch this, there'll be a ton more. Now, the shortcut guide in its entirety starts here. In it, I am going to show you some of the features and the setups. And I've chosen to do this as a slideshow because I ended up with an infinite mirror when I ended up trying to do it live on the software. But trust me, you'll get the hang of it. So streamyard.com, create an account. Here I am, the name of my account here is Faster Masters Rowing. And this is the main screen you get to when you first log in. On the left-hand side, the home screen is where I start for all of my new recordings. Across the top, ignore the pink errors banner. That came about because Facebook changed its rules about what you were and were not allowed to stream into. But you can see below it three big options: live stream, recording, and on-air webinar. So live stream is exactly what it says. It allows me just to have a stream of everything that I'm doing completely live. Recording allows me to produce something and save it locally, but it isn't being live streamed. And of course, an on-air webinar is a public show where people can reserve tickets, which they can buy or just email to reserve, so that you have a record of who attended, who reserved a ticket, whether they watched it live, whether they watched the recording. Below two boxes, reusable studios and streams and recordings. So reusable studios are ones that I regularly use. As you can see, I have a mastermind group there. So there's the link to join is the same every single time. And that's the benefit of the reusable studios. The ones below are one-offs. As you can see at the bottom, I've got one called Al Morrow Preview, which I haven't yet recorded. And those can just show you all of the things you've got upcoming. And there's a tab next door that shows the past ones. Now, StreamYard started as a live streaming tool and software. The destinations you can stream to were just initially YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Then they added X, LinkedIn, Instagram, and all these other ones. You have to have an account on each of the destinations, but once you've set it up, it remembers your settings. On the right-hand picture here, you can see repurposing. So that's a slightly different functionality set. and it's only available to certain destinations. As you can see, you can't live stream to TikTok, but you can repurpose into TikTok. And when you use repurpose, you're going to use a video you've already recorded, whereas the one on the left, this is for your live streams. When we go to create our live stream, you'll see below the little circles. But starting at the top, you can either have the source as your studio, as in what I'm doing now, I'm streaming live to you, or you can use a pre-recorded video. You can upload videos or pick a URL destination from YouTube, or you can save videos and upload them from the library inside StreamYard. Now, the reusable studio button, as you can see, I've toggled that off. Below are the little circles that show all of the destinations that I've got preset up. And as you can see, the first three are Facebook icons. The first one's my personal Facebook. Then I have 2 brand page destinations. Then my LinkedIn. Then I've got 3 separate YouTube channels. I've got Instagram, and then I have a couple of Facebook groups. They're grayed out because Facebook changed the rules and you're no longer allowed to live stream into groups. So I can't use those. There is a workaround. It's reasonably technical, which you can work out if it's important for you to do that. Having said that, Facebook prefers you to upload videos natively, so you can do a workaround. When you create your live stream, they're all completely straightforward with the exception of Instagram. So Instagram, which is the one I've highlighted here, requires you to have a stream key, which is unique to every stream. On the left-hand picture here is my current setup of having selected Instagram as one of my destinations. The blue box explains how to get your stream key, and then the cell below it says Instagram stream key. The right image is inside Instagram. So if I click to create a live stream, I give it a title, and then I say the audience that I want to present it to, whether it's private or live or just contacts. And it then shows this box where it has the stream key and then a button to copy it, and you copy and paste that across. Now we're very nearly ready to go. But if you choose to check this box that says schedule for later, you get a couple of additional options, which are really nice. And I prefer these, even if I'm scheduling it for later and it's only 5 minutes later. You can obviously set a time and date, but here you get the chance then to upload a thumbnail for your production. And on the right-hand side, you'll see the thumbnail that I've chosen for us today. You can rotate it, you can resize it. So these are grid lines that you can use. And then it saves into the stream so that when it publishes it and says Rebecca's about to go live, it then has an image ready for you to show. Now here I am inside the studio. So I've gone in, it's automatically put my name up, and you can see here the main controls. So let's start on the top. In the middle is the camera. It's just showing exactly what you can see right now, but below it, it has a whole load of controls, starting with this one on the left-hand side, which puts me full screen on my own. Then moving across, it has 2 heads side by side, 2 heads embedded, and then it has various other layouts, including this one for slides, where I can put my picture on the bottom left, or I can put my picture on the middle, or I can put my picture big and the slide small. So these are just options that you can use. And I suppose it provides a little bit of visual interest if you switch it around. But obviously, when you have guests speaking, the best bit is the cells below. You can see 3 squares. There's the colored square with my face. And then to the right of it, there's another square which is semi-grayed out. And then there's a completely gray one that says present or invite. You can use these so that different people are full screen. So if I have a guest and they're giving a slide presentation, what I don't want is this, where I've got my face here and their face below it, but actually it's them that's doing the talking. So what I can do is I can use these little screens at the bottom to remove myself and put myself into what they call a green room. Now that means that I can see and hear everything, but I'm completely muted and my image and live stream is not part of the broadcast. But I can obviously leave my guest live and doing the talk for themselves. At the bottom are some of the controls that you would expect. The microphone, the video camera, and you can set it on the microphone. For example, I use a Yeti Studio microphone, so I default to using that rather than the one that is embedded in my computer. Ditto cameras, you can set up multiple cameras, so you have different camera angles if you want to see yourself from the side as well as the front. And then the plus button in the middle allows you to add either slides and PDFs. So what you're seeing now is a PDF of my slides, which I've taken out of Apple Keynote, but it allows you to natively embed PowerPoint as well. You can then add a video file. So if you want to upload a video, I will say that the bandwidth is not great with this, and sometimes it comes out a little pixelated. And you can also upload a still image file, or you can share your screen, and I'll be sharing my screen later, so you'll be able to see what that looks like. Of course, on the right hand side, we then have banners, and here you can just write text at the bottom. You can see it says plus create a banner. Write whatever text you want. This sits at the bottom of the screen, or it can scroll, and it's quite useful to just give some guidance as to how we're going through the slideshow. So right now I'm adding a banner here that just says StreamYard. I can go back to the ones that I had earlier, or I can just remove them and have no banners. You can also see on the left-hand side that it says scenes, and these are the background images. I've got a pretty picture here of the bottom of the seabed, but you can put any image that you want as the background, so that in this instance, the slides don't fully fill the screen, but I can click a button now to maximize, and you should be able to then see how that displays differently. Moving on, there are other controls which are on the right-hand sidebar. The first picture here shows you all the different brands that I work with. So I do a lot of different work on this platform. Faster Masters Rowing is my business where I teach sport to older athletes. And below it, you can see FM webinars. So when I do a webinar, I have a different color scheme and branding. Then I have my podcast, Rowing Chat. Then I have a range of different clients. And then on the right, when you have selected the brand, it then shows you all of the different logos that you have uploaded. So I can show you here, I can put in a logo, I can put in, this is a one for a webinar called Rigging for Masters. So you can upload an awful lot of them. You can also have overlays if you want. Like here, it says live with StreamYard. Well, that's the default one, but you can create your own so that it allows you just to have a bit more visual interest. There's also the option to have a QR code. This is a reasonably new bit of tech that they've only just introduced. And the joy of that is it then appears on screen, and you can actually see here, there's the QR code I put in the top left-hand side for a webinar, which I'm going to be doing later on this month. Moving on down, you can adjust your brand colors. They're all just hash keys so that you can match them perfectly. They have some default themes set up, so you can have rounded or classic or grayed out. You can choose your font and you can choose your default camera. The one thing that I will say I have been begging them to introduce is the opportunity to center your banners. Because when I repurpose my video, and what I want to be able to do is to put a portrait version of myself talking, it unfortunately then crops off the banner text that I have because it's not centered in the middle of the screen. But hey, maybe that's just a nicety. Maybe they'll introduce it soon. This last picture is a brand new feature which they have done just this month, which is around comments. So the So this is a new feature that they've put in this month, which is comments that allows you to put them live in the corner of your screen as they happen. This is a really cute new bit of tech. So you can manually add comments. So right now, here's a default comment, which I have manually added, and you'll see that it repositioned my live stream video. So I'm above the comment and I can just remove it. But this option allows you to just for them to appear as people write comments. If you have a large audience and they're watching live, this is quite a nice thing to do, but it's also a distraction. So I like the fact that you can control it. Moving on to some of the other features that they have. This is about audio and sounds. Now I have background music not enabled, but I have uploaded my own intro and outro, which is the top two cells there. The red square is around the looping button. It defaults to looping. So if you're using an intro and you don't want it looping continuously, you have to click it and it just toggles off. And here I am playing
smooth
the
and
intro.
firm in your hands. Taste the salt of your own sweat and the occasional splash of water. It's all
I can change the volume.
Welcome to another episode of Faster Masters Rowing Radio.
And I can change the volume right down again, and I can stop that. On the right cell, you see a brand new piece of tech, which is teleprompter. So you can type notes in there and it appears on the screen in front of you. So you don't have that thing where your eyes move sideways or downwards when you're going to read your notes. That's brand new this month and quite exciting. So I have done my recording. You've seen everything that I've recorded, and we're ready to save and publish what I've done live. Now, because it's a live stream, it is automatically recorded in the destinations that you've sent it to. Instagram only allows you to save it for up to 30 days, and then you have to manually add it to your stream if you want it part of your permanent feed. Otherwise, it was just a done and gone, whereas YouTube creates a unique URL. What I will say is when you set up your stream at the beginning with YouTube, you can choose whether you want your stream to be public, unlisted, or private. And that's kind of handy should you want to do some editing or change it later on. But now we're ready to publish. So I go back out to the StreamYard homepage, and here you can see on the left-hand side, I'm on the library tag. Now it allows you to save up to 50 hours of content, which is pretty handy. And that's generally enough for me because it allows me time then to publish them, to download them, to save them elsewhere if I want to. And then I just remove my old ones. So here are some of my recent recordings. And I've clicked on the one on the right called Al Morrow Preview. And you can see it allows you some editing functions. You can then, after the fact, upload a thumbnail, you can share it, and you can download. The right picture is the download options. Personally, I usually only download the audio because I publish my podcast as an RSS feed for an MP3. So it needs to have an audio, even though I have created it live straight into YouTube. So I download my audio recordings here. And then we're now ready to move on to the next stage of what do I do when I've got my MP3 downloaded. I'm going to now show you what I do next. So the first thing I do is I go into my YouTube studio. So here we are with our video, the Podcaster Shortcut Guide. You're probably familiar with YouTube Studio. You can edit and add whatever notes you want in here. I like to use quite a lot of the 5,000 characters, which is your max. However, because I stream my podcast MP3 with SoundCloud, I can't use the full 5,000 characters in SoundCloud. It only allows 3,000. So I limit them, but I put timestamps and things in here. Now I use a tool here called Feed Buddy, which is incredibly useful for thumbnails. So take a look at this. It allows me to analyze my thumbnails, and you can have a look at the paid version of how it helps you with keywords and the like. But the thumbnail generator is where I like to go. You'll remember that I mentioned that I upload an image if I schedule my StreamYard recording. So if I click here, it's now got the image already saved. I hit continue, and here I can overlay text. I can format it. Whoops. I can center that text. I can left align it. I can change the color. I'm going to choose one of the default colors. I think we'll go white here because that'll fit. I can change the fonts, and then I add it as a layer. Oh, it's way too big. Let's change that back to maybe medium. And then I just need to position it, click away, and then I hit continue, save, and publish. Once you've published that using the guide, down here you get the kebab logo, and you can click to download it, and it opens it in a new tab here, and I can right click and save that image. Moving back here into our studio, I can select my playlists because I have several set up. I usually say that it's not altered content. And down here, FeedBuddy also allows me to add some pre-recommended tags. You can get more of these if you have the paid version, or you can just set your own keywords in here. All of these are default, so I set my category by default. Hit save, and it's ready to go. Now I've got here my video link. So I'm going to copy that now, and I'm going to take you now over to my podcast website. I'm logged in. It's a WordPress website, and I have some custom code here, which I call automation. Now, these are all my different podcasts. I'm going to choose this one. And here, if I paste my URL from YouTube in here and click Start Task, what it does is it starts processing, and it then automatically publishes the podcast as a blog post for me. Here's the title of a previous one I've done. It's got the author, it's got the date, it's got the category, it's got all my timestamps here put in, and it's also embedded the YouTube video. This saves me so much time. So what I do from here is I copy the text, because I'm going to use these back in my SoundCloud. So remember, we downloaded our MP3 file here. So I'm just going to search for MP3. And here's the most recent one. I click open and it saves it. It's created a track link. It's going to make me the main artist. We can put genres in here. Mine's usually sport. And then down here, I can tag it and I can paste in the show notes. Now, my artwork. Remember, we saved the artwork earlier. So let's search for our podcaster's guide. There's the original artwork, and oh, that's me changing things around. Here we go. Open that and it'll upload it. Now I can position it in the box, and you'll remember that I positioned the text in the other version of the artwork so that it would display on the left-hand side. Here it all is, and then I just click upload, and that's my MP3 published. Once it's done, it allows me to view the track. I can take the track, I can check it out. If I need to edit it, I can go in here and edit it. Now, the next thing that I do is I then go into my newsletter. So I use kit.com as my newsletter software. And this is a template of my weekly podcast. So here's the podcast. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the URL of our this one that I've just recorded. I can put that in there. I can replace the image. I can upload an image, which is going to be our podcasters. No. No. Somewhere I will find my slides. No, not finding them. I'm going to have to pretend that these will use one of the slides that we did from earlier. So it'll upload that, put it in. I'm sorry that I didn't have the right one ready for you. And there we go. And then I use this section to cross-sell and upsell other products and to get people reading the archive. So I put in things like this in square brackets so that you know what it is. And sometimes I'll put in how long, like it'll be a 5-minute read, because I know that many people are time pressed. So I want to give them some guides as to what they might like. And then I save that so that it's completely finished. So we have covered StreamYard, which is the MP3, and that pushes my podcast in audio form out to all of the usual destinations. SoundCloud is the MP3 that pushes it out to all the audio destinations. StreamYard is where I record it. I use TubeBuddy on my YouTube studio. I use kit.com, which is what I've just showed you in terms of getting it sent out as a newsletter. And the last thing I'm going to show you is this, which is Opus Pro. And this is where I take my video URL from YouTube and turn it into clips, which I can then share on Instagram Reels and Facebook Shorts. So the software picks the clips, it gives it a title, and it gives it a score, this green number, of how good it thinks it's going to be. So here's a clip that I've previously shared. I can just play it and watch it. But if I click the edit button, here we are, and it's transcribed my text. It's using the colors from my branding. Here you can see it's in portrait format. And what it does is I can then load up the video, and while it's playing, it shows each of these words as a subtitle with the colored overlay, with my branding on screen in the corner. And down the bottom here is the audio file, which then can be edited. So I can split it, I can cut things, I can delete sections, paste them together. It has some pretty neat little features, like you can have B-roll putting into it. You can change your text fonts and positioning and style. You can have, it'll create what it calls AI hooks, which I personally don't use. Mostly I'm interested in the captions option. And when it's doing these, you can then preset the way you like them to display. I absolutely love Opus Pro. It's one of the best investments that I've made. the fee is quite modest, and it works on the basis of credits. So you, depending on how many videos you use it to publish and edit, that depletes your credits through the month. It is already logged into both my YouTube and my Instagram. And as a consequence, what it does is I have a one button click where it'll set up a caption and hashtags to publish into YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels. You can edit those, you can add your own favorite hashtags and the like. And so it makes it very, very quick indeed for me to get my social media prepped up and ready to share. So let me show you again, because it's now loaded, what it looks like inside the edit screen. So I press an early square helps, and it helps to figure out exactly how low your handle needs to be. So ideally, I pause it there. I've decided that needs to be highlighted. So I've changed that to red. You can see it's turned red here. And you can see exactly how far you are through the video. You've got the audio at the bottom, you've got the video. The top line just shows that I am continuously showing my logo. You can have different options there instead. It needs to be. So ideally, you could be rowing squared or feathered blades. And I save my changes here. I can choose to export. You can see how many credits I've got. And it then, once it's saved, it takes it back to the main menu. And I click here, which is the calendar icon, and I can publish to, at the moment, I've just got Instagram and YouTube. It's created a suggested description and hashtags. Unfortunately, it thinks I'm about swimming, which I'm not, so I'd have to change that. The same for YouTube. I can select a time on the pro version of Opus Clips, and then I just click here to publish it. Isn't that easy? So that is a complete run through of my shortcut guide to help you. I can basically record my podcast. It takes me 5 minutes to set it up. It takes me a bit of time to plan what I'm going to say. I then record it. After I've finished recording it, it takes me about 45 minutes in total to publish it to my blog, to the MP3, to get it into YouTube, to get it across into using the automation into a blog post, to get it into my newsletter, and then to set up that day's reel and YouTube shorts. I then go in daily and do the YouTube shorts and reels every day that I choose to do them live. Don't you think that's a good shortcut? Well, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I wish you all the best. Below this video, you'll see the links to everything that I've talked about. And I hope that this is going to really help you advance your own podcasting, save a ton of time.